We've got an hour because I've got another meeting straight after this, and I think Victor, you also do, looking at your calendar. Um, so let's just dive straight in. Um, I thought let's just start by getting grounded and like quiet and connecting with ourselves and each other. So if I can invite you to please make yourself comfortable, close your eyes, uncross your arms and your legs. And just let's just breathe together. Um, let's take let's take 3 deep breaths and just forget about everything that came before now. And come to this moment. Now we can all feel the same earth under our feet. And even though we're all in very different places, we're still connected by the same earth. So let's imagine a line of energy that connects the three of us through the planet for this hour. So we can do this important work. Okay, so now keep your eyes closed. Particularly you, Victor, I'd like you to envision what you see for the future of the gathering at its fullest expression. Where does this go to for you? Without any constraints. How does it make other people feel?
Do you want me to answer now or?
No, no, just keep within yourself. Keep your eyes closed and just keep keep to that vision. We'll have time. I've got lots of questions to ask you to unpack it all. I just want you to connect with that vision now of what this thing that you've created becomes. Where does it go? What is it in the future? And how is it making people feel? What purpose does it play in the world? Now let's imagine that the gathering is an entity it has its own energy and it's standing in front of you and you can see it and you can feel it and you're connected with it. Is there a message that it has for you right now? Is it saying anything to you? When you're ready, you can come back to your space and open your eyes. Um, yeah, and share anything that you saw or heard or from that brief exercise.
So, yeah, and I've been asking this. question. I cheated a bit too, because last weekend I was at the mushroom ceremony and I asked this question. So been preparing.
Okay, great.
And on the one hand, I see the success of the gathering as the gathering disappearing. In the sense, it's just something that's out there that people do. So it's no longer something that we think about, right? That's just something that you do that's ubiquitous. I don't know, car, Kleenex, flush toilets. Nobody thinks about flush toilets anymore, right? It's just
Mm,
something that's a universal part of our lives or of modern lives. So I think this is definitely a part in the sense that it becomes so ubiquitous. It's just something people know about and becomes part of the how we gather in a regenerative society. The big vision and the big vision that came to me uh, last weekend, I am a child of sci-fi, of a vision of humanity as an interplanetary species. But what came to me is that we will become that once we learn how to become a planetary species based on love and connection. Right, that as long as we continue fighting and being against each other and using up our energy on strife and division, there's no way we can go out into the stars, and nor should we
mm,
go out into the stars because we will just carry the same crap with us. So, uh, yeah, the gathering is about building connection, uh, globally, locally, right? I think there's always been festivals which build connection locally, and actually a lot of the bigger ones people traveled for a long time to come and connect, so that's part of it, but now we can do it globally as well.
mm,
And also a space where people come together to search for come into a culture of searching for connection and things that join us. There's so many spaces in the modern world. Polarization is one of our key diseases. And the
mm,
default is we go into a space and we search for what separates us. And I'm not saying that's maybe not important or useful at times, but we have a lot of those spaces. The dream of the gathering is a space where we come to search for what join us. And despite the differences that we have, which are always there, I mean, the three of
mm,
us, I'm sure we could, if we search, we'd find huge things that we disagree on. Uh, but there's so much that we agree on, and that's what enables us to move forward.
mm.
So, space of connection and searching for, yeah, searching for things which we can collaborate on.
And how do you want it to make people feel? Or in that vision, how does it make people feel?
Connected to their community, uh, physical based, idea space based, connected to the earth, a sense of belonging.
Mm, okay.
It's one of my favorite one-line definitions is that regeneration is healing this story of separation between people and people and the planet.
Yeah. And people and themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's ending that story.
I think also what the gathering is very much, it's a space of hope, and hope by the Václav Havel definition. I don't know if you came by that.
Mm-mm.
It's where he says hope is not the belief that things will turn out okay, but the certainty that what we're doing makes sense and is the right thing to do no matter how things turn out. As a simple example is I'm stewarding a small but big for one person piece of land here, and I plant trees. And I have no idea what will happen. Maybe the next owner will be crazy, will chop it all down. Maybe fire will come. Maybe climate change will wipe it all down. But planting the trees and trying to
Mm.
create this pocket of biodiversity is what I can do, and it's the right thing for me to do. No, even though I have no control or no way of knowing what will happen in the long run.
Mm. Mm. I really like that as a definition for hope. It reminds me of active hope, if you know Joanna Macy.
Yes.
Mm.
And this is, I mean, I think all three of us we hang out with people who think like this, or to greater or lesser extent, we forget how powerful it is to be in an environment of people who all think like this, who feel hope,
Mm.
see,
Mm.
not just the world of problems, but a world of potential solutions. And this is profound that just, even for 5 days, for 7 days, we can feel this culture and be part of this culture that we dream of. I had a conversation yesterday with Pavel, and he said, "Oh, the gathering, it's a petri dish," which very much it is, right? The petri dish, the scientific ones, right? Because we can experiment with culture,
Mm.
and some of the experiments will turn out not ones we want to continue, but that's okay. An event, a festival is a safe to fail space, right? Whatever we try, it's only 5 7 days. If it's miserable, we just don't do it again. But lots of things we will go, wow, yes, this is how we want to work together, this is how we want to live together, let's bring this into our daily
Mm.
life. So it's this space of experimentation. Also, a key thing, the gathering is a co-created event. So a key thing that I want everybody to feel is a sense of agency. As in, when I come in here, if there is something that I don't like, I have the power to change it.
Okay. Was there a message from the entity as the gathering for you
Well,
now?
that was that we need to tie in together as a global planetary species. We need to build a planetary culture, a planetary unity in order that we can go out into the stars. And a key thing that's also for me really important for the gathering, I see this as finding a way to build unity through diversity. My
Mm.
dream is not of one guru, one culture, one god, one belief system, one color, or whatever, but finding a way where we can come in and people of different faiths, people of different views can nevertheless come together in unity.
Mm.
And it's a huge challenge. I don't know how it's going to work in practice, but
Mm.
that for me is the dream that I see for humanity. Because for thousands of years, we've been trying
Yeah.
this. I have the God, the culture, the answer, and follow or we'll kill you, right? That
Mm.
has been
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
approach to creating unity. I don't think we're going to create global unity through that. And even if we could, it's not a unity that I would want to be part of or contribute to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very challenging. And it's the only way forward. I agree with you. You have to get to that place. It requires maturity on a number of levels to be able to be there.
It requires us as a species to grow up.
Mm. So this is a space that can help facilitate that.
This is a space where we can experiment with that. This is a space where we can grapple with it. Because again, I think, none of us has the full answer. And this is such a hard problem. It will maybe take hundreds or even thousands of years for humanity to get there. But the sooner we start, the sooner we'll get there. And if we approach it with humbleness,
Mm.
right? Also, for me, this is my philosophy, and I think it's partially the gatherings is to humbly engage and search for important questions, right? I like to say that we can find part of this way to this unity across diversity is to find to connect across shared questions rather than shared answers. What is the good life? An Orthodox Jew and I don't know, atheist from Japan will have different answers, but they're both trying to grapple with the answer of what does it mean to be a good human, to live a good life, to be a good ancestor. And I think if we approach it from that angle and say, oh, we're both think this question is very important. And this is your answer, and this is my answer on where are they similar, where are they different, and why. I think that creates a richer potential for engagement.
Mm.
I think there's also a key thing of creating a culture of mutual respect and curiosity, right? If I see you doing or saying something which I disagree with or I think is wrong, rather than saying you're wrong, you're stupid or evil or whatever, if I can approach it with curiosity and respect, I can go, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Clearly you're a good person. Clearly you're trying to engage with it. I wonder why would you come to this conclusion? What path led you to believe that or do that? Something which doesn't make sense to me.
Mm. Okay. Um, okay, there's a lot there. I have just checking. I think some of these questions are already answered. Was there a visual that came to your mind when I asked you to imagine the gathering at its fullest expression? Did you have like an image or a visual that came to your head?
Yeah, this kind of mycelium energy connection networks meshing around the whole globe,
Hmm.
right? I think
But
in many ways, I love the image and the metaphor of mycelium, right? Because it's
yeah.
so important to the health, but it's invisible. Right? We're
Yeah.
only now starting to learn and discover how important it is and the many dimensions of signaling and moving information and energy around the forest that the mycelium
Hmm.
serves. We just see the mushrooms, right?
Hmm.
And we think the mushrooms are important, but they're just the fruits of the bigger
Yeah.
organism.
And the biggest organism on the planet is a mycelial network. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, what I think, I don't know if you've ever come across the book Finding the Mother Tree.
No, I don't
Very
think so.
important. Susan Siemers, she did a lot of this work. And what's really interesting is that the mycelium network actually allows mutual support and collaboration across species. Okay, yes, similar kinds of trees or a mother tree supports its children, obvious. But there's birch trees supporting pine trees because they're strong in different times, different seasons. And then they just kind of worked it out that when one is strong, right? And
Hmm.
all through the
Mm,
mycelium. So
that makes a lot of sense. It's a great analogy for everything that you just said before. Um, hmm. Anything else that like visually came to mind?
how do you visualize love? I mean, it's sense of warmth and belonging and
Hmm,
being part of a greater whole, right? This is this amazing, on the one hand, this realization, if you open yourself to the vastness of the earth, vastness to the universe, of how tiny and insignificant we are, and yet we are everything, right? There's this idea of me trying to understand myself is the same as the universe trying to understand itself. So, yeah, we are both infinitely small and infinitely vast. And this connection between the vastness of the universe and the wholeness of the earth.
hmm. Okay. Um, Anything else to add there before I move on to the next question?
I think nature, right? One of the
Hmm,
pillars of the gathering is nature. So bringing in nature as our host, right? And this is both at the practical level of the gathering happens in nature, so we are in a natural environment, which is, I think, also a metaphor for understanding that, oh, oops, we're living on a planet and nature, we belong on everything. Our life is fundamentally predicated on connection with nature.
hmm,
Something that I often like to say, it's somehow paradoxical and crazy that the world's biggest climate conference happens in New York, one of the more urban places on Earth. So the gathering is very much the opposite of that, of
hmm.
hosting the event in nature, and through that also developing our connection to the natural environment, to the biosphere.
And nature is also then a participant.
It's a participant, but actually, I think it's our host. It's
Hmm,
participant and host. And I think forest, right? I mean, forests are because nature, the savanna or the desert is also nature. But I think bringing people together, the gathering is more about coming together in a more friendly and welcoming environment, right? It's not like Burning Man where we throw you
hmm,
into the middle of the desert and survive. It's more doing it in a forest, in an environment where nature is friendly and welcoming and supportive.
hmm. And more gentle.
Yeah.
Hmm. Beautiful. Um, I really would love to. I will be at a gathering one day soon. Um, what
By the way,
inspired? Sorry, go for it, Alex.
yeah, I didn't really say this yet, but both for you, Gia is actually interested in making the gathering South Africa happen. Uh, After my visit there, I think something sparked up, and she has a place in mind. This is next to the townships that I visited with her, and I think that would be something profound to do it over there.
It's
Just like,
beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for bringing in that, Alex. There is also because I want the gathering to be something that's inviting, that okay, it's organizing this event, but it makes people look at it, go like, yeah, I would like to do that. I want to make that
Mm.
happen.
Mm. And that sense of agency again that you spoke about.
Yes. Because this is fundamentally the society that I dream of and I want to
Mm.
create, where we feel we have a sense of agency.
Yeah. Um, what what inspired the gathering? How did it start? I don't know the origin story.
So it's been my whole life path from growing up as a single kid in a communist bloc without much community and wanting connection. I think some of my first real experiences of connection and community were in the early rave scene of the 1990s, right? That sense of togetherness and we
Mm.
are one. I went to Burning Man in 99, 2000, and that really seeing that culture where there is no spectators and everybody takes agency and takes responsibility for co-creating it. In Japan, being part of Japan has a very strong festival culture. The Shinto religion, it's if you think about it, in Europe, culture is strongly tied to bricks and mortar, castles, chateaus,
Mm.
churches, physical stuff. When you live in a land of fire, earthquake, tsunami, you learn to build a culture that's not so deeply dependent on physical bricks and mortar because they're not so strong, not
Mm.
permanent. And instead, I really think the beating heart of Japanese culture is in the festival, in the
Mm.
Matsuri. And there is one which over the last 20 years I've participated in 7, 8 times, and I saw the power of bringing it together. So over the years, I've seen how powerful a technology this coming together with people is in bringing people together and bringing relationships. A key thing also that's really interesting is festival brings us into circular time, which is something it's a fundamental in nature, right? In nature, in general, time is never linear, it's circular. It
Mm.
comes
Mm.
with the seasons, it has cycles. And in our modern world, a huge amount of our life and existence is on this linear time, always forward, always, never done. And it's important that we also have circular time because circular time brings us into reflection. That's why we have birthdays, right? Birthdays brings us into circular time. So all of these different experiences, on the one hand, seeing the power of this psychotechnology. I don't know if you're familiar with that term. Psychotech,
Psychological technology. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So technology, not in the physical sense,
Yes.
in the sense of
Yes.
ritual, ideas, culture. So it's a really powerful psychotechnology for building community, for bringing people together.
Mm.
So I saw this on the one side. On the other hand, I saw the community here in Portugal and generally around the world, the community of change makers, where people feel alone, unsupported, don't know about the
Mm.
others, da da da. And I was like, oh wow, here we have this amazing technology for bringing people together and creating connection. And here we have a bunch of people who I love, who I really want to support, and who humanity needs, who need connection, right?
Mm. Okay. So it's yeah. So it's like I get it. Like a life, a process that's
Yeah.
through
And
your
then
life
and
and
then
in an observation of what was in front of you.
yeah, of the need. And then, I've been going to music festivals or a bit burns. And after a while, it's just okay. You go to a music festival, you have a great time, you bond with effectively random people, right? You build connection. Maybe you go with your small friends group, right? I want to continue having these experiences, but with people who I'm working with, who I'm building the ecosystem with, who I can
Mm.
partner with, right?
Mm.
So just as using psychedelics for entertainment, it's great. go to it, but you're missing, right? You're missing a huge part of the power and the potential of
Mm.
this psychotechnology. And just so, if we only use festivals for entertainment or even just for personal transformation, we're missing the huge power of this psychotechnology for building community and bringing us together.
Mm. A great point that. Okay. Um, do you have an audience group that you wanting to speak to? The thing with brands is that they always evolve. So like, we design something now, but in 5 years' time, you might feel like, okay, I want to
So,
do it again. But for the next 5 years, let's say, is there someone that you're wanting to speak to?
I mean, in so the challenge is I really want the gathering to connect across movements. It's not just the people who identify as regeneration or use this language. There's a
Mm.
whole world of people reinventing schooling, circular economy, sustainability. Everybody that's working for impact, for purpose, for building a new world, right? I would say the unifying thing is people who have seen that the status quo, we need to build new systems,
Mm.
and just iterating or polishing the status quo is not going to create us a reality that we want, and will quite likely crash our whole society. So it's people that have seen and they are following one of the paths of change and reinvention,
Mm.
that are following the
Okay.
paths or that are curious, that the window is open. In general, the gathering is not there to convince people that the consumer capitalism and making lots of money is not the right path. It's for the people that have realized this and are, okay, what next?
Mm. Mm. I was going to say, yeah, that people have woken up already.
Who have woken up or have gotten an inkling or have a strong sense that this path is not working, of which there is a huge amount. And the interesting thing is, it comes from all angles, from young people that feel the system is not working to mid or even late career professionals who have become very successful in the existing system and have just hit a vacuum of emptiness, right?
Mm.
I have 3 cars in my driveway, and clearly 3 more is not going to make me happier. What do I do?
Mm. Okay, so it's across age groups and cultures and
And, and
locations
and
and
yet at the same time, last year, one of the pivotal experiences in old has been last year I had 300 calls with different people talking to them about the gathering. And it was incredible because I talked to all the way from 22-year-old second year university trying to figure it out to full on elder, white hair, been doing this stuff for 40 or more years, real. I talked to a bunch of elders in this space. And yet, somehow, in all of those conversations, there's an underlying same feeling of I believe we can do better, and I want to devote my life to contributing to doing better. It was, I'm still struggling to explain it, but really every single conversation had the same underlying flavor underneath it.
hmm, change makers or whatever you want to call. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Um, anything else you want to say about the audience, or can we move on to the next?
I think there is ready to roll up sleeves and want to make things happen, right? The gathering motto, connect for action, which has been working fairly well, I think is key.
Mm.
So there is a lot of people that are still stuck in the mode of complaining of about the thing or just talking.
Mm.
And it is a phase which a lot probably anybody needs to go through. Oh shit, this world is fucked. But the gathering is for people who are ready to take the next step of moving to action.
Mm. That's actually a
Yeah,
key thing.
that's a key
Mm.
thing, and it's and it's this blend of hope, as I described it, wanting to do something better, but not a denial of that the world is fucked, that collapse is coming, da da da. But irregardless of that, we are here to plant trees, we're here to lay the seeds and build a better society. And even maybe everything that we do will be wiped out and it will just remain in stories. But something that I think to myself of the Athenian democracy, it disappeared. It was wiped out for how long? 1,700 years or something. But this story lived on in the mythos, and now it drives, for all of its flaws, it's coming. But right, so putting a powerful story is often incredibly important.
Mm. Everything is story. Every single thing in our society around us, nation states, money, religions, is all story.
For
Even
sure.
about ourselves and how we view
So
ourselves.
people
All story.
people who are people who are here and want to write a new story, that
Mm.
are writing a new story, that are living a new story, that want to be part of a new story. People who see that we need a new story and who want to actively contribute to creating this new story.
Mm. Awesome. So aligned to what I'm doing. Um, are there any other organizations doing similar things?
So I think all of the pieces are out there, right? There is transformative festivals, there is conferences, there is trade shows. I don't think any of the pieces themselves are unique. It's the combination, and there is Burning Man, which brings people together in camps into co-creation, right? So I think this particular combination of co-creation, coming in nature, doing camps is unique as far as I know. There is actually, I need to learn more about it, but the Oregon Country Fair, which has been going since the 70s, has been mentioned to me multiple times as a reference point. Yeah. So all the pieces are out there. But it's a new.
So it's a new recipe of the pieces. Okay. Are there any specific cultural, spiritual, or environmental elements that you want the brand to embody?
So there is one, I'm not using this for the gathering, but I'm using this for me that I'm playing with this idea of one planet, one team. When we realize and accept that we
Mm.
all live together on one planet, right? We share the same air, the water circulates. When you really grasp that sense, you
Mm.
cannot but see that we are actually on one team because we share the air, because we share the water, and all of the other things that circulate around the earth. So that, as well as, yeah, I mean, creating creating a new relationship with nature. I mean, I don't want to go so far as to say that we push animism or such onto people, but you can come to it from a fully profoundly rational scientific mindset of looking at the ecosystems of the earth, right? And I think if you really look at it, you can't help but have a sense of wonder at
Mm.
how big, complex, amazing, right? I mean, how can you not look at 4.5 billion years of evolution and not feel a profound sense of wonder? It's the ancients had the stories of creation of a god ejaculating and stuff like this. I watch videos of how dinosaurs evolved feathers, and that's a million times more complicated, weird, funky, and mystical and beautiful.
Mm.
So yeah, I think this sense of wonder for life and being alive and gratitude, right? For me, gratitude is fundamental,
Mm.
as it is in most faiths and in spiritual traditions, right? Gratitude is
Mm.
an integral part.
Mm. Okay. Um, do you, do you see, how do you see the brand interacting with the world? So beyond the festivals, like there's obviously all the gatherings, the actual events. Um, do you see it growing out into anything else? Is there, and obviously there's the communications that surround that, but like how do you see the gathering moving forward, interacting with the world on a digital or a physical level?
I mean, I think we will need to develop a app, but I've said from the start that the goal of the gathering is not to build a community, but to support community builders through creating a space where they can bring their communities together physically. I think, yeah, I mean, as I said at the start, I would really like it to become Kleenex, just disappear.
Hmm. And become a like a way of being or like a
A
part of it.
particular format for, you say conference, and everybody understands what a conference is.
Hmm.
A bunch of speakers, da 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 da. So I think that would be the gathering success. It's the gathering. Okay, let's do the gathering. Just as, when you say let's do a conference or let's do a trade show or a music festival.
Hmm.
It's
So it actually becomes like I'm going to Google this. I'm going to ChatGPT it. Let's do a
exact,
gathering. It becomes like a part of our language.
yeah,
And in that way, it becomes embedded in the culture.
yes. And it becomes part of the grammar of culture of society, not a brand or I don't know. There's a linguistic explanation of that process, I'm sure.
Hmm. Do you have a sense of what archetypal energy best represents the brand, the gathering?
I don't
There's
know. I don't know this framework.
so there's a hero, a sage, a king, a warrior, a creator. I can paste the list into the chat here. Um, and I can send you, this doesn't have to be answered now. I can send you a description of what each of these means, but
Maybe you can explain in a few words what is this framework about? because I don't think Victor has really any orientation here.
Okay. So basically by like it adds, I guess it personifies the brand in a way that normally there's colors attached to it. There's a way of being in the world that is represented by the energy of that archetype. Um,
Magician.
magician.
So there is something that we haven't talked about that comes from that the Burning Man comes from. There's this book, Live Your Life as Art, and it talks about psychomagic. So Burning Man actually comes out of a art movement of creating art experiences, but art experiences which are designed to bring in and invite emergence.
Mm,
And this is actually what bothers a lot of experienced designers about the gathering and other co-created things like this, that we don't know what's going to happen.
mm,
And it's because we don't know what's going to happen that things that we couldn't imagine can happen. But if we don't create, and I mean, things we can't imagine happen anyways, but they have to break through your structure and your thing in order to happen. If instead we create this kind of an open structure like Burning Man does, there is something magical that happens.
mm,
Actually, I wonder, there is in science, there's this idea of chaotic systems. Chaotic systems is what you have between chaos and order. And that's where most creativity happens. That it's not fully chaotic, because
mm,
then, you can't land anything. It's not fully ordered, because if it's fully ordered, everything that's happening, there's no room for creativity. So there is a certain magic in coming together. There is a certain spiritual energy which comes by being together as a group in a circle, in a space, even just putting together those 5, 7 days of our lives to be together in this space, in this new culture. There
mm.
is a magic underlying it.
Yeah. So I pasted the definition of the magician here in the chat, and it's actually so spot on.
Transformative experience make dreams come true. Exactly. Turn the ordinary to extraordinary. Transport you into a utopian world where limit is your imagination. And then the thing is, transport you to a utopian world where limit is your imagination. And what the gathering then wants to do is help you come back and
Mm,
bring these extraordinary things into your life. We still need to
mm,
work on that part, but
mm, mm.
Maybe there's another part, because I saw that sometimes there is, for example, 80% of magician, 20% whatever else, right?
Yes. So I think maybe the creator also fits. So it could be a part magician, part creator, because that could then ground that magic and into something that becomes real. I
uh,
pasted that description.
I would say uh, uh, creator brands empower customers to express themselves freely. Yes. Yes. And there is also an element of caregiver,
Okay.
because the gathering is a place
Mm,
where you come and you feel you can be yourself, you are supported. Uh, if you have a need, there is people around, right? It's if you need a hug, sooner,
mm,
you just don't need to work very far before somebody will come up and say, do you need a hug?
yeah.
And that
Okay.
actually, it supports the creativity and the magic in many ways
Mm,
too, because when you feel safe and cared for, that enables you to open
yes.
and to go into dreams, into creativity.
That's actually a word that we haven't spoken about before is feeling safe in terms of the gathering making how it makes people feel is safe. Mm. Um, okay. I think we are running out of time. So I think that's on that piece, I think that's great. I have one more question. Um, and that's really like, do you have any preferences or visual aesthetics that you want to see articulated here, or are you leaving this brief open for me?
Well, I mean, we have the logo, which I'm quite happy with. We kind of played around with more or less rounding on the corners, so we tweak it. And the center part, I can send you the references. It's an ancient symbol from
Mm,
Korea, Japan, but also appears in many other cultures, Celtic and others. So the logo are happy with. The logo type, the gathering, it's good, but open to changing it. I think we're all tired of the black and white, but the black and white also came in because most of the design was done by us. And I know when you
mm,
don't have a professional designer, it's easier to not fuck with colors because there is less to mess up, right? So yeah, I think that's going to be the next exercise with the stylescapes, right, Alex?
mm. Yeah.
That will
We'll explore how this all starts
yeah,
coming together. Yeah.
yeah,
But
but
I guess I just want to know if there's anything that you feel strongly about, like it has to be blue or it has to have this or anything. Like something that's come through strongly from the beginning and our conversation the other day is these images of the mycelial network. So I think that's a big piece um, in how the brand is, comes together. But I just
I
want to know if
think
there's anything else that you feel
just
strongly
kind
about.
of generally less is more, simple, right? We want to, the templates and things that we want to create, we want to enable many people to use them,
Mm,
right? And the more complex they are, the more people will mess it up. Uh, Simpler is timeless,
mm,
you know. I'm also yeah, the one thing worth knowing is I am a typography geek, so
okay.
definitely I have a strong sense, but I mean we need to look at it, right? I and also we will need to think about probably using fonts that have multiple language character sets,
Yeah.
something to keep in mind. Uh,
Okay. Um, Anything else that you feel like hasn't been asked or that you want to share before we close?
I mean, there is a sense of joy and I think a sense of coming home. I really loved from this whole conversation. I really loved when you said, and it seemed like your eyes lit up and you went, yes, this is exactly what me and the source are about.
Mm,
Right? Do
mm,
you remember that moment?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's the feeling that people have with the gathering.
mm,
And some people already get it from the brand. And but that's the feeling that's it.
mm. I wrote down deep resonance.
And a sense of coming home.
Mm, yeah, got that. Got that too. Great. Thank you. There's a lot there to kind of to sit with and stew on and work with. I think yeah, I'm not short on inspiration. There's a lot here.
Beautiful.
Um,
And I'm really glad it sounds like it connects with a lot of what you're thinking, feeling, and working on. So
and this is the brand that resonates out of any brand I've ever worked on. It resonates most with where I'm at right now and what I'm wanting to bring into the world. So it really it is that sense of coming home. Like it really it's speaks to the world I want to create. So it's yeah, I feel privileged to be working on this.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's exactly the feeling that we want to give people. It's so easy in the current world to not feel at home, whether reading the news or politics or your bank account or whatever, right? It's easy to not feel at home in this world.
Yeah,
But yeah, beautiful.
beautiful. Alex, anything from you?
Yeah,
Yeah, just one thing. I have Victor, you see what I found?
I see a green note. I can't.
So I have done at some point similar exercise. I was asking different kinds of questions, and I have some download from Victor from April, and I was just looking at it. But in service of time, I would not make any remarks now, but I will just paste it into the chat and with my notes also, because I think there are some relevant pieces.
Great.
Okay, great.
Beautiful.
Thank you both for your time. Alex, you and I will connect around the stylescapes, and Victor, we'll meet again soon. And if I have anything in the meantime, I'll telegram you or
Brilliant. Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you both.